Good morning, everyone. So we have got a full pack 24 hours to report on. It's been absolutely wild. We've had just, random explosions in the United Kingdom that nothing to see here. These are followed by random explosions in random houses in Norway, I think it is. We've got the situation in Syria going pretty much like I said it would. We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about the further rhetoric now, the secret meetings that are happening behind the scenes between the French President Emmanuel Macron, and he's going out there, he's going over to Poland, and they're going to be discussing potentially boots on the ground. Now, what we know from the situation in Ukraine already is that the front line has already collapsed. We have got a situation in the United Kingdom where we're looking like, potential for attacks coming pretty soon. So, guys, let's just get into it. Oh, guys, actually, there's some stuff come out about these UAPs and these and the drones of the United Kingdom. So what I'm going to do right now, before we get into this video, I'm just going to go and we're going to do a quick couple of minutes. I'm going to talk about some drones. I'm going to show you guys a short video. It's kind of a reaction to a reaction. Now, I've not gone to the source material because the guy who's doing this reaction, as you'll see in a moment, he's stopping it and he's zooming in, and I just can't do that. So his reaction is better than going to the source material. But you guys will understand why I'm doing this. I'll put the link to this video in the description. So let's just share that with you guys now. So this is the video we're going to share. Let's make that big. And I will stop this at various points.
Near Darlington Nuclear Station, UK.
Okay, guys, just before we go, this is footage that was shot on the 28th of November. Now, this is a UAP sighted near Darlington Nuclear Station, UK. Also, so we'll just go on with it, guys, and I'll tell you what I think it is once we see the actual footage.
November 28th. Y'all, this is all happening within the last few weeks. Look at this. Look at this thing.
Holy damn.
Look how bright that is. And we're seeing only two, but as he zooms in, you're gonna see so many more. This is over a nuclear station.
Zoom out a little bit so you can kind of just gauge how bright.
Guys, we don't know that this is over a nuclear station. It could be over a nuclear station, but I've not seen any evidence that it is over a nuclear station. But let's just continue.
We're talking. They're the brightest thing in the sky.
It was literally, when he zooms in a little more, first of all, look at how bright that is, even in that darkness. Look up here. It's actually lighting up the sky a little bit. That is how bright that is.
This has to be seen by other people. This is way too bright. This
Look
one
at that.
will be seen.
Look at that. It almost looks like it's maybe taking a formation. Look at them just disappear. And look
Hang on.
at this mofo appear right here.
Right, guys, can you see the shimmer in here? It almost looks like smoke. Well, it doesn't look like smoke. It is smoke. Can you see the shimmering that's going on around it and how these things are just appearing and disappearing? I'll tell you what that is in a second.
Oh, hell no. Y'all, we're getting no explanation. And some of the drones...
What?
Some of the drones in New Jersey, people say they look like planes. But, like, the FBI has... there's a whole investigation going on. They've confirmed it is not planes. These are not prosaic things. They don't know what the hell they are. Look at that. Over a nuclear station.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to leave it there. I don't want the video to drag on. What I'm seeing here, in fact, let me stop it when it's zooming.
Comprehend what I'm looking at.
There's a lot of smoke around that.
I was going to say there's so much smoke.
Well,
I like how she said that. She's like, I can't wrap my head around what we're looking at. Like, that is how anomalous it is. That's so crazy.
It seems like a steam or something.
Some have said, you know how they're
seeing from them, it's around them.
Yes, that's smoke or steam. I'm going to zoom in so you can get a better look at that kind of.
Okay, guys. So what we're seeing here, we've got to understand the geographical location of Darlington. Darlington is in really close proximity to Infantry Training Centre Catterick. I've spent many cold, wet, hungry nights on ITC Catterick training area. And what I would say with a high degree of certainty is that these are signal flares launched by the military. Now, I would criticize whoever's firing these up because the Illume plan is terrible. You wouldn't want to have that much Illume in the air at once. You would want to ration it. But again, maybe they're conducting a raid or a ambush, and then they want to get that over and done with quickly, and that's why they're putting all the Illume up at once. But either way, guys, there's so many things that he's saying on here that says that he's just screaming out, this is illumination fired by either a 51mm mortar, an 81mm mortar, or potentially hand-fired, I think they're called Shamulis. It's basically illumination rocket on a parachute. It flies up. That's why you're getting the smoke, because you're getting a high-intensity burn. I don't see these guys as UAPs or, anything other than, illumination rounds fired by the military. And the proximity to ITC training area, guys, that kind of says what it is. The article goes on, this video goes on, and it talks about more stuff that's being seen all over the world. Now, that stuff that he goes on further in the video, guys, I can't give you an answer to. But this one here over Darlington, which is in ridiculous proximity to ITC Catterick, Infantry Training Centre Catterick, I would say with an almost 100% certainty, depending, that is signal flares illumination. Now, there's some more footage, images actually come out of these, UAPs. I just want to share this one with you as well, guys, because I think these things are wild. I'm not 100% convinced what they are. I'm not on the, I don't think I'm not convinced they're aliens. But this thing here, what is that? I mean, I've no idea. I mean, that could be a quadcopter on a very light frame. So, I don't know what this is, guys, but it's got the flight lights on it. It's got this really bright light in the middle. I don't know what the resolution of this is. I don't know how far away I don't know how far away it's been taken, but this is kind of the first actual image I've seen that I can look at, and I can't really get anything from it, guys. So anyway, UAPs, drones, still flying all over the UK, still flying all over the world, still flying over these, military bases. And again, there's like conspiracy theorists who go out there and they say, and they ask for a Freedom of Information Act. They ask the military what it were, and then the military will say, oh, we were conducting a military exercise. And then they all say, that's what you would say. And you're like, no, really, that's like kind of what we were doing. We can't tell you what else we were doing because it's national security. And I get that, guys. I've literally been in that position where, lots of wild stuff's happening and people are saying, it's UFOs, it's aliens. And we're like, no. It really was a military exercise. So that's what I think that one is, guys. I think it's signal flares, but I'm not saying they're all signal flares. They're certainly not. There's, I was speaking to my friend who I won't mention his name. He works in that industry. He works in that location. He's got secret clearances. He works with drones, and he doesn't know what they are. He doesn't know who they are, actually. He says they're drones. He says they're quadcopters, but who's operating them? I don't know. The questions are still ripe in everyone's mind. Anyway, guys, so I'm just going to read you a couple of headlines from Syria. So this is from the UK government now. It's too early to remove Syrian rebels from terror list. Prime Minister Keir Starmer says no decision has been made yet on whether the UK government could remove HTS from a list of branded terrorist groups after the rebels led the overthrow of President Bashar al-Assad in Syria. So, there's still, this rebel group that is now potentially in control of Syria. I mean, you guys tell me what you think of that. But the rebel group that is now in control of Syria, the British government are not taking them off the terror list. Now, that's out there. It's in the mainstream media. And I just want to share this, guys, because it's absolutely wild how much money we are now going to be plowing into Syria. And Syria is under the control of this rebel group. So they talk. I'll put this link in the description, guys. Where is it? So in this article, it says that they are going to give the Syrians £11 million. £11 million, guys. You know, it's just more money now that we're giving overseas. Now we're giving £11 million to the Syrians when the Syrians are, as we've just seen there from Keir Starmer himself, are under the control of this rebel leader. Now we don't know what's going to go forward with this Syrian invasion, the conflict that's out there, guys, you know. But if you guys have been looking on social media, there's a lot of open source footage. Obviously we can't confirm or deny this open source footage, but there's a lot of bad things that are allegedly happening in Syria. Now obviously I couldn't comment on their authenticity. Maybe this is old footage, we just don't know. What I can say with 100% certainty with regards to Syria is, when has a rebel and I've said this before, when has a rebel takeover in the Middle East ever led to prosperity, ever led to an increase in living standards, ever led realistically to anything good? Now, yesterday's video, I talked about this guy, this leader. Excuse me, guys. I talked about the rebel leader, how he's doing this with his hands and how all world leaders seem to be doing that. It was great to listen to some of you guys in the comments saying, you know, it's just one of the ways that you get taught to hold your hands when you're doing public speaking. Some of you guys were having more wilder conspiracies. I genuinely don't know the answer. I'm going to look into it. It's something I can't unsee now because I see lots of world leaders doing this. I think I'm going to try and figure out. I know a couple of people who were Tory politicians, MPs. I'm gonna ask them whether they get told to stand like this or not, and I'm gonna try and get him on the show. So that's kind of the situation in Syria with the Syrian conflict. But as always, guys, there is a lot more to be spoken about. Where are we? Live updates, guys, from Syria. So I'm just going to read these live updates, guys, because one of them is right. Israel said it struck Syria nearly 500 times in just 2 days, hitting most of the country's strategic weapons stockpiles and destroying its naval fleet. The UN Special Envoy for Syria urged Syria to stop striking the country. Can you please stop striking the country? So here's the thing, guys. This is what I was warning of. After seizing the demilitarized area of separation between the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights and the rest of Syria, Israeli forces have advanced to a village just 16 miles from Damascus, a Syrian activist group said. CNN is unable to verify the claim. So if this is true, guys, remember from yesterday's video, I said they're going to make a push into Damascus as some sort of peacekeeping force. And once that force is in there as a peacekeeping force, whoever is in control of the peacekeeping force is the de facto leader. Now, the main Russian contingent in Syria is the Russian Russian naval base that they've got. Now, I've heard that the Russians are trying to hang on to this. Now, I'll just show you where this is in proximity to RAF Akateri. So this is where the base is here, guys, at Tartus. Now, if you look, hang on. So we've got Damascus down here. Hang on. So you've got Damascus, and then you've got Damascus here at the bottom, and then you've got this Tartus naval base. That's where the Russians have, the Russians are having a lot of their naval fleet there, and that gives the Russians access to this little bit of, well, it's not little, to this water, which is the Mediterranean, which is in proximity to RAF Akateri. So you see why this is a real strategic location for the Russians. Now, I've heard that the Russians are trying to hold on to this base, that they've had some sort of agreement, they've come to some sort of agreement with the government that's been put in place in Syria. I don't know how much credibility is in there, but that is going to be a key location for the Russians. The rest of Syria, it does matter, but it doesn't matter as much as this. You can fly aircraft in, you can fly troops in. With your shipping and your ships, you kind of need to send your ships on the sea because they don't have wheels. So, you know, for the Russians, this naval base is going to be key, guys. As I understand it, as of today, the Russians still have control of that naval base. So that's kind of the situation in Syria, guys, as an overview. Of course, there's lots of things happening. There's going to be things happening on a day-to-day basis. There's going to be fractions in this rebel group that are going to split. There's going to be a grab for power. There's going to be infighting. Now, that is what I would suspect, because that's what happens historically when these things happen. I've got a friend who's going out there to Syria. He's going to Damascus. He's having to go to he's flying to France, to Lebanon, and then he's going to drive in from Lebanon, because he said the flights to Israel were just far too expensive, and the company he's working for would not pay that. Guys, I'm going to come to Ukraine last, but I want to talk about this, something wild. Random explosions in Ilford in the United Kingdom. So let's just see what this is all about. Now, explosion at house leaves 2 in hospital. Look at that there, guys. That is absolutely wild. I'm just like the image there, that thumbnail. That's pretty much the best you can see. I'll put this link in the description. 2 people have been taken to hospital after an explosion at a terraced house in the northeast London. The London Fire Brigade has said. Footage on social media shows a huge blast at a house in Ilford, which has been converted into flats, with chunks of masonry being flown into the street. So this happened at 4 o'clock yesterday. So what do we think that is, guys? What do we think that possibly could be? I mean, really, guys, like, do you want me to elaborate on that? Do you want me to speculate? Okay, I'll speculate. So it would be my speculation. And there was another incident in Norway, I think. Another similar incident happened in Norway, where I think I've... let me just give you this as well, guys, real quick. So random explosions in houses, guys. Nothing to see here. Police arrest 3 after Hague flat explosion. In Netherlands, sorry, my mistake. Authorities in the Netherlands have arrested 3 suspects in connection with a devastating explosion that rocked an apartment block, The Hague, killing 6 people and leaving a community in shock. So, you know, the blast, which occurred on Saturday, demolished 5 homes in, I'm not going to pronounce that, guys, area of the city. So nothing to see here, guys. Just random explosions in blocks of flats. Now, what I'm going to suspect, guys, and this is my estimation. This is my analysis. This is my speculation. In fact, guys, I'm not even going to do that. All I'm going to say is some of the things that we've been warned about previously. We have been warned by the head of MI5 that MI5 have thwarted acts of violence against the United Kingdom that involve those things that go kaboom and those long metal things that stuff comes out of the end. The head of MI5 came out publicly and he gave a statement saying that. So what you guys put 2 and 2 together, random houses just exploding in Ilford, random houses just exploding in Netherlands. Do we think this could be some sort of planning for something that could be coordinated? Now, I'm not speculating that is or it isn't. I'm asking you a question, guys. Could we right now have people in a state of planning in the United Kingdom, that these guys could potentially do something? It's up to you guys. Whatever you take from that, take from that. I don't want to get the video banned, so I'm not gonna make any speculations on that. Absolutely insane, guys. You know, I would suspect the media coverage will go silent on this explosion in Ilford. I suspect it will just go silent, and we will be told that there's an ongoing investigation, and that's all we'll hear about it, guys. Literally, we'll hear it's an ongoing investigation. it'll fizzle out, people forget about it, and then like in a couple of months, something opaque or there'll be a little media thing saying, oh, 2 people were arrested under something charges and they've been sentenced to community service or something. You know, I don't know. But if you put things on, you know, but if you put things on social media, that gets you sent straight to jail. Guys, my hair is wild. It needs a cut. I understand. So we're going to go to Ukraine now, guys. We're going to talk about what's been happening in Ukraine. So the French President Macron, he's going out, I think, tomorrow to meet with Donald Tusk to speak about what's happening in Ukraine. And I've heard from people I know that they're going to be talking about boots on the ground. Now, whether that happens or not, when that happens, it doesn't really matter at this point because it's kind of, you know, an inevitability at this point that it will happen. So let's just go straight to, in fact, let me rewind this a little bit. You know, I don't really need to rewind this too much anymore, guys, because the amount of ground the Russians are taking is absolutely phenomenal. Every day they're taking more and more ground. I'll just go through real quick, guys, because it is just as per the Russians taking more and more ground every day. So these are the towns you need to look at, guys: Velyeka, Novosilka, and Pokrovsk. So I'm just going to fast forward. So that's from the 9th. We'll go forwards. There really isn't any way that the Ukrainians can hold them off. This area here of Pokrovsk, that is like right now, the area of Pokrovsk, that is going to get overrun soon. Remember, again, guys, you know, remember this little uptick here with the river features. I think they're going to get to roundabout here to Solone, and then they're going to head north. Anyway, so we've got this happening in the east of Ukraine. We've also got now, you know, people coming out saying that there's no way that Russia will even enter peace talks until Russia's objectives are met, which is exactly what I've been saying for the longest time. You know, people are saying, oh, there's going to be peace talks because Donald Trump says it. No, the only person who can agree on peace talks is Vladimir Putin. And until, like the article says there, Russia insists Ukraine war won't end until Putin's goals are met. This is, you know, this is what we've known for the longest time. You know, I've known this for the longest time. There's going to be no such thing as peace talks. There's going to be no talk of a ceasefire until Vladimir Putin's, you know, until he's achieved his goals. And as a bare minimum, absolute minimum standard, Putin wants to get up to the River Dnipro. Now, he has to do that because of the strategic importance of the River Dnipro. You know, it's a natural barrier, and you know, it's going to be a lot harder for the Ukrainians to fight a war over a huge patch of water than it is them pushing on land. You know, so there's going to be no such, you know, there's going to be no talks of peace until the Russians manage to get up to the River Dnipro. Doesn't matter what the mainstream media are telling us. Doesn't matter what Macron and what's his name, Keir Starmer and Donald Trump. Doesn't matter what any of those guys say. Yeah, it doesn't matter what anyone says, unless Vladimir Putin is in a. Sorry, guys, I just whacked the mirror, whacked the light. You know, all those. Doesn't matter what they say. The only person whose opinion matters in Ukraine right now is Vladimir Putin, because he's taking ground every day. I've hit that as well, haven't I? So there we have it, guys. You know, a quick update on what's happening around the world, those key flashpoints. We've got the United Kingdom, you know, what do I say? How do I put this? How do I put this without getting anything flagged? We have got it's begun. You know, these things have begun in the United Kingdom now. These random explosions in Illingford, the random explosions in the Netherlands, this could potentially be someone, as the head of MI5 said, you know, planning, making preparations for something. Now, I'm not saying they are. These could all be random events. This could be a gas main. It could be anything. But we're going to have to wait to see what the media says. It's very interesting that the media have not made any assumptions, because normally they'd say it's a gas main. They'd say what's happened, and they'd give some sort of explanation. I will put the links in the description to all of this, guys. So that's one thing, you know. Preparations potentially being made. We've got the situation in Syria. It's while what I see happening in Syria is the Israelis pushing further and further into Damascus, a situation where the Israelis move into Damascus as some sort of peacekeeping force. And once they've moved into there as a peacekeeping force, then they are the de facto leaders of that region. The Russian military base in Syria, the naval base, that is the key one that the Russians will want to hold on to. There's a few mainstream media outlets that are reporting that the Russians are managing to hold on to it. I don't know if there's any truth behind that. They may have to leave soon. They may manage to hold on to it. I genuinely don't know. Time will tell. This rebel takeover, it's never a good thing when rebels take over in the Middle East, guys. It never leads to anything good for the people who live there. Maybe this is the first time. Maybe things are different. I don't know. I suspect not. Situation in Ukraine, doesn't really matter what the mainstream are telling us. The only person who can come to a peace agreement or who can agree on a ceasefire is the Russians, because they're pushing forwards. They're taking ground every day. I don't feel that Putin's going to even consider sitting down at that table until he's up to the river Dnipro. That gives him some sort of strategic barrier to use as a defensive line. Anyway, guys, I think I've covered everything. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Guys, I'm going to mag to grid. I'll get you guys another video later.